I'm Sam from Sigma. You're on the Sigma stand here at TPS 2025. It's been a great show. This is the first year it's been at Excel. We've seen a lot of good returning customers, but a lot of fresh faces as well. For us, it's been very popular. We've got 3 new products, which I've got right in front of me. So,
fantastic. What would you like to show us today?
So I'll start off with, this is our, I'm going to call it the one which everyone wants to have a look at, because it's slightly different to the traditional camera. So this is our BF. It's a Sigma BF camera. It's a full frame mirrorless, minimalistic, simplistic camera. It's very, very nice. If you look on the back of it, we've got very little buttons. We've got just one top dial, one USB-C on the side, only 4, selection of buttons. It's very simple and easy. It's made for a single use, single hand workings as well. It's a lovely little camera to use. It's kind of, I see it as a nice camera to take out on the weekend with family, friends, kids. It's very beautiful to look at as well. We do it in silver and black, but it's basically stripping down all of the major controls into a more user-friendly environment for the customer, and it comes in an L-mount system as well, so you have so many lenses to pick from. It's a lovely little BF camera. So.
What made you want to jump into the camera? Because obviously Sigma were notoriously known for their lenses and really well known for their lenses and obviously the sharpness of their lenses, but why are you looking to launch a camera specifically?
So a lot of people don't know that we always made cameras. Okay. So in the 64 years now, I'm adding the dates in my head, in just over 60 years, we've always been a camera and lens manufacturer. So we've had our SD series, our Merrill series, our now FP series, which is still running, and now a BF camera. It's something we always wanted to do. It's something from the founder of the business, and now the CEO wants to continue it going forward. I think it's fantastic. I really like it, and now we have an alliance with Panasonic, Sigma, and Leica, where we share the L-mount system. It just makes it easier for mirrorless lenses, which we can make really small, and it's that next stage of development for us, really.
Fantastic. And for those who are interested in maybe purchasing the camera, like, is it released? Like, when are we going to actually be able to get our hands on it? And then, of course, how much is it going to be? And do you have multiple models, or is it just one model?
Of course. So it was announced about 2 weeks ago. It comes out next month. The camera body itself is about £2,000. And then, depending on the lens, they're 400, roughly to about 700 for this style of lens. And I think it's going to be very popular. We do 2 different ranges of this camera. We do the silver I have here, and then we've also got the black, which is very similar to that black we have there. But I think the hardest question for me is, what color do I want to go for? Because I really like the silver, but then also I really like the black. So it's kind of swapping, and you can obviously put a silver lens on a black body and vice versa. So I think it's going to be very popular for a stylish photographer. But yeah, that's our biggest, or our largest camera to show, which we're showcasing. We're still doing the FP series as well, where we also announced 2 other products as well, which is very exciting. So let me grab the next one up.
Just before we move on to lenses, what kind of megapixels and kind of specs have we got on this camera specifically? Because I'm sure people were really interested to hear from the tech heads out there.
Sorry, I'm running through it, but yeah, so we got a full frame 24 megapixel sensor. The nice thing about the 24 megapixel sensor is, so the only thing you can externally take off is the battery in this, so it's all internal memory. So that's about 230 gigabyte in here. On that 24 megapixel sensor, you get about 4,000 RAWs roughly. It packs a punch, it's very nice. But the nice thing is as well, is you've got USB-C on the side, so you can just plug in a hard drive and externally pump it out, or you can do it the same with, say, a tablet or like a computer as well. So you got loads of options with it.
Fabulous. And you wanted to talk about some lenses?
Of course, yeah. I love these lenses as well. So you got the 16 to 300. This is the workhorse for the majority of shooters out there. If you're going on holiday, any travel, anything where you just want a 300mm as well as the wide 16mm, this would do it all in one. This comes out in Sony fit, so SE L mount fit for Leica, Panasonic and Sigma. We've got the X mount, which is Fujifilm, and then this Canon RF mount as well. It is a crop sensor lens, so if you have a full frame camera and pop this lens on, it will crop down into crop mode. But it's the perfect little size and weight for most people, and it's £599.
Were you looking to do that one in Nikon as well, or not?
Not currently.
Okay. Is that in the pipeline, do you think, or?
I don't
You did.
know.
Okay, fair enough. No worries at all. And I mean, would you say this is something that is mostly for all-round shooters? So someone maybe shoot an event like today, where you want that wide and that kind of telephoto look, obviously without switching lenses.
I think that's exactly that. It's the versatility in one lens. You can go from the 16 and get the full stand-in, and you get the nice close-up of the 300mm, someone in the distance, get your candid shots. But it's also for someone who might be shooting a lot of landscape stuff. They don't want to keep swapping the lenses out, and they don't want to get any dust on the back of it for the landscape work. So you keep one lens on, does all your focal lengths. It's kind of perfect little design, and it's not too. It's a good size and good weight with a camera on the back end. It balances nicely. So.
Fabulous. And kind of autofocus speed, is it kind of what people would expect, or is it specifically, like really, really well rated? Or I may be fishing here a bit, but I'm always interested to hear how the autofocus performance is, because I know that a lot of photographers are really looking for that.
Yeah.
And maybe how loud, things like how loud the motor is, and things like that for video as well. I mean, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. So it's using our HLA, it's using a quieter motor in there as well. So you shouldn't hear anything going throughout. In terms of what was the last bit of the question?
So it's just about how quick the focus specifically.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Track on and etc. Obviously, it would depend on the camera as well, of course.
Well, because we make it for the native mounts, we've designed it specifically to be as fast as we can. So yes, you should get the same result as a native lens, or as any of our Art Series lens would offer. So.
Fabulous. And for those who are interested in obviously the f-stops, is it a Vero aperture lens, or is it a full all the way through?
Yeah, so it's a 3.5 to 6.7 lens as you go throughout the range, and it ramps very slowly as you go. There you go. So
obviously for those who maybe don't know, that you have to change your shutter speed slightly, or etc. as you zoom in, if you do want to keep that same exposure and or pull it in post in that respect.
Exactly that. I mean, I cheat a little bit. I just put auto ISO on it and just bumps it up. But yeah, there's so many ways around it. And also, when you get to that focal length of 300mm, having a 6.7, the depth of field is still very shallow because you've got the distance with you as well. So.
Fantastic, and we can't not talk about this lovely behemoth here.
And what in the room, the bigger.
And what specifically, I mean, is this? I mean, this is I imagine a sports or wildlife photography lens. Is that kind of the goal? Is that the element here?
It is. It's one of those lenses which is a dream lens to have. So you've got a 300 to 600 f4 all in one. The hood makes up some of this. So let me take the hood off to show you the physical size of it. Sorry.
That's okay.
There we go. So it's an all-in-one f4 throughout. It's we've done incredibly well to produce it in an f4 in this size and weight, but this is for Sony E and L mount shooters. So.
Fantastic. And what would you say this, because I personally own the 150 to 600 for Nikon mount specifically, and I'm then finding that I need to, well, in some cases I will telephoto, so use a teleextender to telephoto that to 1200mm. Is there any range or any conversation with what you're planning with the wildlife or the sports shooters to potentially have like an 800mm or anything along those lines? Because we're starting to see that as maybe a more commonality or a more common focal length for these larger telephoto lenses to use.
Okay, that would be lovely if we could produce an 800mm of that. I'd like to think so, yeah. So we always take a lot of research and development seriously. So for customers like yourself coming to us and recommending that, we feed that back. So yeah, watch this space, you never know.
Fantastic. And what would you, I mean, is this like the standout sports lens or standout wildlife lens that you would recommend from yourselves, or is there other options and other things that people may be able to look for? Is this more for photography shooters? Is this video shoot? Like, what's this really designed for? Is it for sports? Is it for wildlife? Is it for like a mix of both? Like, where would you say it sits?
I would say it's a mix of both. It kind of fills the gap nicely. I mean, you've got this is a very high-end lens. It comes in around just under £6,000 as well. It's a very big lens, so if you're going on safari and you're an amateur and you're just doing it for a holiday, probably wouldn't recommend taking something this large. That's why we've got a 150 to 600 to 60 to 600, which does a large range. This is for the customers which want a lot of light coming through, that depth of field to be extra shallow, and someone who can carry this for the day and also get a good range off of it with the low light. So.
Fabulous. Is there anything else you specifically want to mention about either these products or anything else that you've got here at the show, or anything else you want to shout
out? Not particularly. We've got everything here ready to go. So if customers are coming around at the show, please say hello and we can demo them and have a look. So.
Thank you ever so much for the time, Sam. I appreciate it.